Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Rob Balasabas. If we have not met yet, my name is Rob Balasabas. Really glad to have you here. If you're watching the video version of this, maybe on YouTube or maybe on Spotify, hello, you can see me waving. If you're just listening to this, whether you're on the walk, like I often do, which actually I do a lot less now. I listen to less podcasts when I'm walking. I shared this in another episode, I think, or maybe on LinkedIn, but I've been doing a lot of walks where there's no phones, there's no headphones. I'm just walking, I'm listening to nature. And so maybe you're like me, but maybe you are listening to this on your walk or on the treadmill or while you're working out. Regardless where you are, maybe you're driving, I don't know. I'd actually would love to know where you tune in on this podcast. But yeah, welcome to the podcast. I'm the host of this podcast. I've been running this podcast now for quite some time. I think I'm on like episode 160 or 70, and it's just been a blast. Just this community building and this really coming together over the years. And yeah, really glad that you're here. Truthfully, thank you so much. Yeah, and so today I wanted to share some thoughts. This episode is a little bit more personal than the usual, I suppose. It's something that's been on my mind for quite a bit of time now. Actually, it's for quite some time. I've been thinking about this. If you're a dad in the creator space, whether you're a content creator, maybe you work for a creator, maybe you work for a brand who supports or has a solution or a service or a product for creators. Maybe you're in the creator economy, working in this space. Similar to me, maybe you're doing both. Maybe you're a creator and you work for a brand that is serving creators and has creators as customers or partners. Then this one is really for you and really for the dads out there. And if you're not a dad by any means, I'm still here to serve you, to support you, to make sure that I add value. I want to do that regardless. But this is a community. I've been thinking about a community, and I want to talk about this in this episode. I've been thinking about a new community that I'm thinking of launching. And I've been going through this process for a while now, and starting to talk more about it publicly. And I want to share sort of some of the things I'm doing. So maybe this applies to you because maybe you're a dad in the creator economy, in the creative space, and maybe you are exactly who I would love to have in this community that I'm thinking about. Or maybe you're not a dad, or maybe you are a dad, and maybe you're thinking about launching something. And I'm hoping that by sharing some of these things as I sort of build and get ideas and feedback, and just making sure that there's a product market fit for what I'm doing when I'm building here, maybe it gives you some idea or framework, or maybe some inspiration on how to start thinking through some of your ideas before you launch it. I'm really of the school of thought of move fast, break things, Mark Zuckerberg and that startup mentality. But at the same time, I think there is a lot to be said about measuring twice and cutting once, right? Getting feedback, vocalizing your ideas, talking to people that you trust, that that can say, hey, you're way off base. I don't think this is a good thing to do. You should think through some of ththese things. And that's kind of where I'm at now. And so hopefully this will be helpful to you in one or two or more of those ways. Yeah, this is a community that I've been thinking about launching for quite some time. I don't have an official name for this, but sort of, in my mind, and as I scope things out and, plan and kind of ideate and talk about it with different folks on LinkedIn or my email list, in my community, peers. I'm calling it the Creator Dads Club, okay? It's not an official name. If you have a more hip and cooler name, please let me know. I'm open ears to it. But this isn't just some random idea. It really is, comes from my own journey as a dad and as a creator and working in this space. and from a lot of conversations that I've been having with fellow dads out there that have, certain struggles and challenges working in the space and balancing life as a dad and making sure you're present and, all of those things. And so I guess I'll start off by saying that, being a dad for me is one of the most rewarding experiences I've uh, have ever had and continue to and live in every single day. It's one of the best things. It's the most rewarding. It's the most fulfilling thing, and most important role in my life. But at the same time, it's one of the hardest. And there's a lot of hats that you wear and a lot of pressures that you carry, and you throw that into the world of content creation and perhaps running a creative business or working in the creator economy, and you've got a pretty wild balancing act that you are running on a regular basis, and it's actually quite crazy, right? And so as I go through that, I'm sure that I talk to other dads out there and in this space, that are also constantly juggling, trying to be fully present at home with their wives, with their kids, while still building something very meaningful in their work. These are things that I'm thinking about. And so a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a week and a half ago, I sent out a survey to my email list asking fellow creator dads or dads in the creative space to share some of the challenges that they're facing. And I had a couple of questions in there. I'm actually going to pull up the survey itself here. And so the survey was really simple. And actually, I will link to the survey in the show notes. And so if you are a dad in this space, or if you just want to see what the survey looks like, by all means, feel free to click into the show notes here. But really simple survey: name, email. Are you a creator dad? Are you a content creator who's also a dad? Yes or no? Very simple question. I then asked, what type of content do you create? And so do you create family content, tech, lifestyle, vlogging, education, and other? Okay, so I didn't cover every single thing, of course. There's a million different types of content out there, but I listed a few of the common ones, and then I had other. And then I asked, what challenges do you face in balancing your creative career and fatherhood? Okay, open-ended question. And then I asked 3 more questions. Would you be interested in joining a dedicated community for creator dads focused on thriving in both your career and your family life? Yes or no? And then 2 open-ended questions. What resources or support would you find most valuable in a community designed for creator dads? And then the last one, is there anything specific you'd like to learn or discuss in this community? And so I sent out that survey. I got a bunch of replies. I had some ideas, obviously, of what these challenges might be, because of course I'm living it too, right? I'm a dad myself, I'm a creator, and I'm also working in the creator economy, right? But a lot of the responses, man, it just really hit home, and it made me realize just how important it is for dads to connect, to support each other, and most importantly, to share these challenges, right? It's not new, and it's not a new idea. It's not a new discovery or a new thought that guys in general just tend to not vocalize when they're having, challenges or troubles or struggles, right? Guys' stereotype is that we'll never ask for directions, right? We'll never ask for directions. And so I feel like that is very common. That really does apply to our industry as well. Another thing that I've been sort of thinking a lot about lately is that, I'm blessed to have a set of peers of fellow dads in my world, both online and also in person. It's such a huge blessing for me. But I know that's not common for most men, right? And there is, loneliness amongst men, and it's just very evident. If you go out there and when you get to a certain age in life, you have sort of like, oh man, you're not doing certain things, you're not playing team sports as much, you're not doing the things that you used to when you were much younger, perhaps. and where you would have a lot of, male friends and buddies that you would go and hang out with. That became less and less, especially as you focus in on your work, focus in on your family, and have less time for those types of relationships. And so some of the responses were, I mean, I was just kind of nodding as I was reading these, and I want to share a couple of them with you because I think they'll really resonate. One dad said, "I'm building an online creative ecosystem, trying to mentor people in their careers, their family life, their faith. But the challenge is, how do I balance it all? How do I include my family in the process without feeling like I'm failing in one area or another?" Another dad said, "I have two kids, a challenging full time job, and I'm working on my creative side hustle. It's not impossible, but it's definitely not easy." And there's this one, which I think a lot of us can relate to. "I need to force myself to stop working sometimes because it's fun, but I don't step away. I'm losing the balance I need with my family." And so on and on and on, and more of these, just replies to the survey, and it was just, man, I just resonated with all of these so closely. And again, it just kind of started reinforcing in my mind, like, hey, this is something that is really needed out there. Because I myself was looking for, like, hey, man, I'd like to connect with other dads, and in the space, and just hearing these replies is just like one after the other was so. It was great to hear that even just the replies sort of allowed these dads to just vocalize and maybe articulate some of those challenges that they were feeling. But also quite saddening to me that, like, hey, this is something that maybe some of these guys are dealing with on their own. And so I found myself nodding along with a lot of these as I read them. Because honestly, I've been there as well, right? To some of those, I mean, I'm still there with a lot of those things. Balancing work and family is tough, right? Especially in the creator economy where, your success often feels like it hinges on always being on, right? Let me know if you agree with that. You're always on, right? And so it's easy to feel like you're failing at one thing or the other, and then you add in social media and sort of like this persona that you need to have, and having a personal brand that is attractive to your audience, and making sure that you're always like got the right thing and looking the right way, and not just your work but also your family, and there's all these factors, right? And it can be a lot to carry. And so I don't believe it has to be this way. I think that creators in general are always willing to share. They're, my experience, always very friendly, very generous with their time. They're always looking to connect and learn. And so I think there's a better path, and that's why I'm really dreaming up this community of creator dads, right? And this creator dad club, and it's not just a place to vent, right? I don't think that that's really what this needs to be at all. There's plenty plenty of space for that, but it's really about building something that helps us succeed as dads and as creators, right? I think it's about finding the balance, learning from each other, which I think is really important, and then most importantly, lifting each other up, right? Being there, accountability, being there when there's questions, there's thoughts, there's challenges. There's the aspect of like multi-generation as well, right? There's dads that have replied to the survey that are just new dads. There's dads that have been, have dads that have had kids that have adult kids that have already moved out or are going to college, or already grandparents perhaps, right? These guys, some of these guys. And there's dads like myself that are kind of in the middle, right? We have some teenagers, we have some kids that are still in elementary. And so I think learning from each other and this multi-generational thing is just going to be so beautiful, and I can already kind of envision that. And so, we know how, like, there's also this isolation in this journey as a creator that can feel sometimes, isolating, right? And so just if you can just imagine a space where you can ask for help, get advice, give advice, right? Which I think is just almost as important and rewarding as getting advice, or even just hear from someone who's already been there. And that's kind of where I'm talking about the multi-generational, different stages of your business, all those things, right? I think would be so beautiful if there was a space for that. And so I'm really just, as I sit with all of these ideas, hear back from all the dads out there that are replying to the survey and sending me DMs and emails about this idea. I really don't just want to create something just for the sake of creating something. That doesn't excite me at all. I don't want to just create for the sake of it. I really want this to be something that adds value to the men that are going to be joining and being part of this community. And so, um, yeah, it's something that I hope doesn't just improve their work, but also makes their life as a dad better. So both sides of things, um, because let's face it, if, when we're thriving at home, then we will show up stronger in our work, right? Let me know if you guys agree with that. I definitely stand by that. I think when things are, when things are going well at home and you're in a good place at home with your family, with your wife, with your kids, um, then when you go to work, you have a clear mind. Um, and you can do better at work. You can be stronger, you can be a stronger leader, you can be a stronger teammate, you can be a stronger servant in your work, right? And so, what I'm thinking with the Creator Dads Club is first a dedicated platform for the community to connect, whether that's on WhatsApp, Discord, maybe even Facebook groups, maybe Uscreen, who knows? It's really still up for discussion, to be honest, with this first group of dads. And I think this is why this first group of men that are going to be joining this community is so important, because they will be the most, I'm going to be picking their brains, right? And building this together with them. And so I'm still trying to figure that part out. I'm actually going to be emailing the first set of dads that have replied to the survey so far, and just asking them a couple of questions as a follow-up. But a dedicated platform, a community where we can have a digital community, a digital home, and I'd actually love some input on that. Also thinking through, of course, like live sessions, actual places to connect, and creating a space to connect in real time, not just, async on, community boards or chat groups or anything like that, but actually a time to connect live in real time, virtually, okay? Of course, we can't always fly to the same city every single week. So we're gonna hopefully create space to connect live digitally, virtually, through live sessions. And this can be a place where we just connect and we just have open conversations. Maybe we bring in different experts to speak on different topics, both for business, but also for fatherhood and life as a dad. So productivity hacks, involving your kids in the process, involving your family in the process, work-life balance, all of those things. And then most importantly, a space to share what's working for us, what's not working for us. How can we improve together, whether it's navigating, imposter syndrome, time management, or even just talking about how to be present at home while still crushing it at your work. All right. And so I hope I'm coming across that I'm being super honest, that I don't have all the answers yet. I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm sort of in the messy middle here of like trying to figure out what would be the best fit for this community, and not just launching it, but also at the same time, it's a really tough balance to, fight the urge of not just launching it right now. Let's just launch it. Let's put it out there. And being really mindful of getting all the data, all the information, all the feedback before you put it out there. Although expect it to go out pretty soon. Okay, I'm not the type of person to wait too long. I really think the best thing to figure out a product market fit, in terms of like, I guess a business term for it, is to put it out there. And so gather the data, gather the information, gather the feedback, but eventually you need to put it out there. And so that's going to happen very soon. And so I would love feedback. I would love replies. Email me, DM me with any thoughts, suggestions. I will have that survey, the link to the survey. It'll take two minutes at the most, to be honest. And so I'll have that link in the description or in the show notes. I'd love for you to fill that out. But really, that's why I'm kind of sharing it out here and really being more vocal about it. Because I do really want to build a community, that serves these fellow dads the right way and the best way possible. And so like I said, super thankful for the feedback so far. I've got more questions, which I'm going to be sending to the first set of everybody that's replied. I'm going to be sending an email here very soon with a couple of quick questions that I'd love to hear back from. So if you're one of those guys that got an email from me, please reply back. It's actually really fun, really exciting to kind of dream up what this community could be. Eventually, man, I would love for it to turn someday into in-person gatherings, and creator dads, getting together in person for coffee, for, watching Monday Night Football, or, bringing their kids out for the weekend somewhere, on a Saturday, or, barbecues and things like that. I mean, I think it'd be so fun, getting together. Maybe if we're all going to be going to Vid Summit, getting together before Vid Summit, the day before, during, or at VidCon or something. I mean, man, the things I've been, sort of dreaming and praying about for this is really, really just exciting. And yeah, but one step at a time, one step at a time. And so, again, if you are a dad working in the creator space, and you're balancing sort of all of these things, work life, family life, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you would like to get from a community like this. What would make it really valuable for you? What challenges are you currently facing that you think, could be tackled by something like this? Like I said, hit me up. There's a survey. You can also shoot me an email. Even send me a video reply on email or on LinkedIn or Instagram. Honestly, your feedback is the most important part of this whole process. And so I'm excited to see where this can go. It's not just about being better creators. I think that'll happen, but also I think more importantly, it's about being better dads too. And so excited to see, what happens here, to be honest. I think it'll be just a win-win for everyone. And so I appreciate you. If you're still here listening, I appreciate you so much. Again, if maybe you're not a dad yourself, then share this with a creator dad that you might know. Forward it over. I'm open to all feedback. All right. So thanks again for hanging out with me, guys and gals. Appreciate you and your time. God bless you guys. And I'll catch you in the next episode. All right. Take care.